Hello everyone, I am Kausal Patel from Mechanical Engineering Department at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. In this video, we are going to determine equation of motion and natural frequency of a cantilever beam which is having a transverse vibration and a torsional pendulum having torsional vibration. Okay, we have studied longitudinal vibration so far. Now we are going to study transverse vibration. In transverse vibration or lateral vibration, a body is having to and fro motion about the neutral axis of the body. Okay, to study transverse vibration or lateral vibration, we are going to consider a light cantilever beam having a concentrated mass at one end. Okay, here we are going to ignore the self weight of beam. So here we have considered a cantilever beam which is subjected to a point load at free end. Okay, now let the deflection due to this point load at the end, let it be delta. Now here we have ignored the self weight of beam. It means we are only going to consider an elastic property of the beam. We are not going to consider weight of the beam itself. Okay, and as the beam is elastic, it would provide the resistance to the deformation delta. Okay, so we need to find out lateral stiffness of beam. Okay, so if we can find the lateral stiffness of beam, then we can consider this system as a simple spring mass system which is having lateral stiffness K. To find out lateral stiffness of beam, we already know that spring force is equal to K into delta. So K would be equal to force divided by deflection. So here lateral stiffness K could be given by W by delta. Here W, that is nothing but mg, which is the point load at the end due to the concentrated mass. Okay, now we need to determine the value of delta for this particular loading condition. So for a cantilever beam which is subjected to a point load at the free end, we can get the equation of delta as WL cube by 3 times EI. That is particular for this loading condition, cantilever beam with point load at free end. Okay, you can derive the different value of deflection delta for various loading condition. So from this table we can see the static deflection for various types of beam loading condition. Okay, these things you have probably already studied in mechanics of solid or fundamental machine design subject. But in our particular case, loading condition is like this cantilever beam which is subjected to point load at the free end, and for that delta can be given by WL cube by 3 times EI. Okay, so delta is equal to WL cube by 3 times EI. Here I about x, that is mass moment of inertia about the horizontal axis passing through its CG. Okay, then lateral stiffness could be given by W by delta. Okay, in which by substituting the value of delta, we can get K is equal to 3 times EI about x divided by L cube. Okay, now once we have determined the value of lateral stiffness, then we can consider an equivalent system, that is simple spring mass system. Here only K would be different. Here instead of linear stiffness there is lateral stiffness, so the value of K would be different. Now we have already derived the equation of motion for simple spring mass system, that is x double dot plus K by m times x is equal to 0. So from this equation we can get omega n, that is natural frequency, is equal to in square root of K by m by substituting the equation of K, that is 3 times EI divided by L cube. Okay, so we can get omega n as 3 times EIX divided by ml cube radian per second. Now frequency in hertz could be given by omega n divided by twice pi is equal to 1 divided by twice pi in square root of 3 times EI about x divided by ml cube hertz. Okay, same way you can also find out periodic time, which is the reciprocal of frequency in hertz Fn. Okay, so this is about transverse vibration. Now torsional vibration. In torsional vibration there is a limited angular twisting motion about the axis of shaft. To study torsional vibration we need to consider a disc having mass moment of inertia which is suspended on a steel wire having length L and diameter small d as shown in figure. Okay, now let the disc is twisted through the angle theta from the mean position. This is the mean position and it is twisted through this angular displacement theta. Okay, it means it is having acceleration in clockwise direction when viewed from top. So the disc as well as the steel wire or shaft, it is also twisted through this much angular distance theta. Now as the steel wire is having elastic property, it would going to offer resistance to this angular twist. So the steel wire is twisted up to its elastic limit, then it would provide restoring couple, that is Kt into theta, where Kt, that is torsional stiffness. So you don't have to get confused with Kt into theta, that is restoring couple. It is the same way as spring force, that is K into linear displacement delta, while here instead of spring force, here restoring couple and is equal to Kt into theta. Instead of linear stiffness K, here torsional stiffness Kt is introduced, and instead of linear displacement delta we have introduced angular displacement theta. So it is just as a torque provided by a spring and it is called restoring couple. Okay, it is acting in counterclockwise direction when viewed from top. Okay, so here in FBD we can see that Kt into theta, it is acting in counterclockwise direction. Okay, now whenever the disc is having angular displacement in clockwise direction when viewed from top, it means it is having acceleration in clockwise direction. So we obviously know that the inertia torque or inertia couple, that would be in the opposite direction to that of acceleration. So it is acting in counterclockwise direction as shown in FBD. Okay, now this system is not subjected to any other forces or torque or moments. So we can easily apply D'Alembert's principle. As per D'Alembert's principle, summation of inertia couple plus summation of all the external torque, that should be 0. Here inertia couple, that is I theta double dot, and external torques, that is nothing but a restoring couple Kt into theta. So ultimately I theta double dot plus kt into theta is equal to 0. So ultimately we can get the equation of motion for torsional vibration as theta double dot plus kt by I into theta is equal to 0. So by comparing this equation with the equation of simple harmonic motion, we can get natural frequency omega n is equal to n square root of kt by I. But here first of all you need to find out torsional stiffness kt. Now torsional stiffness kt could be easily found out using the equation. We know that restoring couple mt is equal to kt into theta. Okay, so kt is equal to mt by theta. Okay, now we have empirical relationship mt by j is equal to tau by r is equal to g theta by l. So from this empirical relation we are going to use this relation mt by j is equal to g theta by l. So here mt by theta could be introduced, which is nothing but the torsional stiffness kt. So mt by theta could be given by gj by l. So that is nothing but torsional stiffness, and here torsional stiffness could be given by kt is equal to gj by l, where g that is the modulus of rigidity for a given material, j that is polar area moment of inertia. Here for a circular disc it is pi by 32 times d raised to 4 millimeter raised to 4. Now by comparing the equation of motion with the equation of simple harmonic motion, we can get omega n is equal to kt by I. Okay, now substituting the value of kt, we can get omega n is equal to n square root of gj by li, which is natural frequency in radian per second. Now natural frequency in hertz could be given by omega n divided by twice pi. So Fn is equal to 1 by twice pi n square root of gj by li hertz. Okay, same way periodic time could be given by 1 upon Fn is equal to twice pi n square root of li by gj second. Okay, so these are the important parameters for study of vibration. So this is about torsional vibration.